Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. Joining us today is Joe Dalia, Assemblyman from Assembly District 29, next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
Snorkel personnel lifts are engineered beyond the industry norm to an uncommon level of safety and durability, and with an eye towards sustainability. They're also designed to be simple to operate and maintain. Snorkel, always at the cutting edge of progress.
I'm Mike Swanson, and welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the heat back on today. Call us today and we'll fix it today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why freeze for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your furnace fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. With me today is Joe Dalia, appearing via Zoom. He is the newly elected Assemblyman for Assembly District 29, representing portions of Henderson. So welcome, first of all. If you just want to give us a brief bio, tell us about yourself and introduce yourself to the wider state.
Sure. Thank you for having me again. So District 29 is my childhood district here in Henderson. I grew up here in a working class family. My mom was a healthcare worker and my dad was a poker dealer here at Station Casinos. I was the first member of my family to go to college, so I studied at Boston University and the University of Michigan Law School. I'd always hoped when I went out of town that I might have the opportunity at some point to take the skills and education I got and bring it back into the community. And, after I met my wife in college, we ended up getting married, had a family. I started my legal career in Silicon Valley. And then, we had an opportunity to come back home, and the opportunity came along to serve not only my childhood district, but the district where I'm raising my 3 daughters. And that was just too good of an opportunity to pass up.
So how long have you actually been back in Nevada? Maybe that matters less in the South. In Northern Nevada, people are really snobby about it. But how long have you been here?
I got back in 2019, so just in time for the pandemic.
Oh, okay. Well, Nevada was especially fun. Okay, so it's a solid 5 years. You worked for Harry Reid, I think, when you were an undergrad. You interned with him. Other than that, though, did you work in politics? Not really. It doesn't sound like.
No, I participated in some campaigns, and I studied political science and economics as an undergrad. And when I was in law school, you kind of, the drill. You cover a pretty broad swath, but I did take some classes on legislation and regulation. So it's been a pretty consistent thread.
So what really? I look at your campaign website because it's always a fascinating thing, and it's not. It's fairly generic in terms of party. Like you have to double check to see what party you're from. Is that Was that purposeful? Is that sort of reflective of a lot of the shifts that we're seeing among party affiliation? Tell us about that.
That wasn't my intent, but I did hear that note a lot on the campaign trail. And for me, that was a point of pride because those are my genuine, policy beliefs and perspectives. So I thought that, I think that means there's a lot of opportunity for something to be written up in a way that Democrats and Republicans and nonpartisans all look at it and say like, oh yeah, there's elements of that I think align with me. I think that speaks to there's a real opportunity there to get things done.
Well, and tell us about that. So, sir, you're a young, earnest guy. I like young, earnest guys. I used to be a young, earnest guy. I like to think now I'm a little bit of an older, earnest guy, but politics is dirty and turns people cynical. So how do do you sort of embrace this role as an outsider? Do you come in? How do you take that, especially as a freshman, and sort of push some of these changes that you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that you understand that there's political realities that certain tasks might be a little bigger than a freshman can get done. But I owe a duty to my constituents to try to get as much done as I can. Every legislative session, we only get 6 total if you get reelected 5 times, right? So there's a lot of pressure to make sure that however many of those 12 years you end up using, that you use them to maximum effect. So I am trying right out of the gates to bring 3 of my 6 bills are going to be economic development bills. I'm seeking a pretty significant reinvestment into a program we have that's directed towards workforce innovation and getting us ready for advanced manufacturing and technology jobs of the future and trying to make our state more competitive. The 3 best states that everybody talks about to start a business are Texas, Nevada, and Delaware. And I think there's a real opportunity for us to take the gold medal there, so to speak. So those are some of the...
I'm really excited because I've got some questions a little bit later prepared. I want to talk about that. No, it's good. I'm glad you brought it up. But I want to talk about some of the foundational politics stuff first. Do you know how many freshmen are incoming in this particular legislative session? I know it's a lot. But do you know the number?
Ballpark around 15. It might be 15 on the nose. But we had a pretty significant number.
Yeah, so it's a huge percentage. I know one of the concerns after the term limits really started taking effect, and I saw sort of the tail end of that, is that the lobbyists would take over and lead freshmen who didn't know what they're doing around by the nose. There was a lot of power, money, all that sort of thing, and well-meaning people who sort of assume everybody else is well-meaning when maybe they're not. How are you sort of fortifying yourself to make sure you don't fall prey to some of that, and moving forward, get some of those priorities that may not align specifically with hard partisan lines?
Yeah, I mean, I try to assume that everyone's got good intentions and that they've got, but at the end of the day, you need to be careful and cognizant of the fact that everybody has a goal they're trying to achieve. And, it's my duty to try to find as much common ground as we can to get things done. There may be points of irreconcilable differences, and people where those arrive, they may try to steer legislation, either to kill the bill or try to steer it in a totally different direction. I'll navigate those issues as they come, but I'm prepared for those issues.
So last year, there's heavily Democratic legislature, Republican governor, record number of vetoes, some crazy wild bills that were coming in. I'm glad the governor vetoed. How do you see this year as an opportunity to throttle back on some of that? As those politics are realigning. Unions are less reliably, Democratic constituencies as much as they were. How do we sort of come back to just common sense legislating without the tribalism?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts from the way, and I can speak to only the way I'm approaching this. I don't want to speak for any of my colleagues, but the way I'm safeguarding against that is I'm trying to work with folks from the other side of the aisle right at the start of these bills to make sure that there's going to be mutual buy-in. So far, I don't think I have a bill that I'm contemplating that wouldn't have potentially bipartisan support. So I think that's going to help a lot, because if you have everybody at the table, get all the stakeholders from both parties, nonpartisans involved too, and just try and see what we can get done.
All right. Well, and we're going to talk about some of the specifics about what we can get done when we come back.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year. and allow them to provide much needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
Story County is leading Nevada. Home of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. If you're just joining us, I have with me today Joe Dalia, who's the newly elected Assemblyman from Assembly District 29, representing portions of Henderson. So the two sort of major policy areas that you touted on your campaign website, you're sort of running on is education and economic development. I want to talk about education in this segment. So you talked about sort of more money for education, that sort of thing. And let me ask you this, because I don't happen to think that more money is the issue. I think it's how we spend the money is the issue. So how is it that you want to spend the money? And if you want more of it, how are we going to spend it right? I mean, our education system, as you noted, is terrible, and Democrats have been in charge in the legislature for decades. So what are we going to do to fix that?
That's what I mean. I think that one of the most important things we can do with any funds that we allocate is teacher recruitment and retention, right? I've spoken to a few administrators about what they would do with additional budget for their schools in particular. And what I've been told consistently is that the number one investment they can make is in a high quality educator. There's no difference maker that's bigger in a kid's life than a really good educator. And the problem is that there's a nationwide teacher shortage. So we're all competing for scarce resources. And if we don't look at this like a problem of we need to provide salary and benefits that are competitive with the top states, then we're not going to solve the problem. Like, we're just not going to get people here to solve that problem unless we approach the problem that way. So I think that any funding needs to be thoughtfully crafted to be directed towards that effort.
So let me give you this. I grew up in South Dakota. We were notoriously 51st in teacher pay. All the teachers complained about a lot, and so we all knew it was fair. It was a fair complaint. But the quality of my public education, with all due respect to my kids' schools, far outstrips anything that we have now, I think, in Nevada. So the pay itself is not everything, although it's obviously important. What are some of the other ways we incentivize people to stay?
I think so. That's where I think we can look at some of the in-kind benefits too. Like one of the things that's hits home for me is I got 3 girls that until recently were all in daycare. And for a no-frills daycare, just a daycare that takes care of your kids, you're looking at $1,000, $1,500 a month. You get 3 kids, you're looking at, again, like $4,500 a month. And if you're a teacher and you're looking at a starting salary of $60,000, that's $54,000 a year spent on childcare, and you got $6,000 left over of your salary for everything else. So I think that we need to look at ways that we can drive down some of those other expenses. I know Tennessee did something pretty interesting where they looked into on-site daycares for teachers that were heavily subsidized. I think the model on that would be important. The details would be important, but I think something like that could be an interesting way to reapproach the problem to supplement some of the pay issues.
Fair enough. So I want to talk about school choice, because obviously Democrats have been historically very hostile to it. My kids, although not necessarily Democratic voters, but Democratic politicians, my kids go to a charter school. It's routinely in the top 10. It's a public charter school. Anybody can go. It's just a lottery that stops. Teachers actually get paid a little bit less even than Washoe County, but it's nevertheless competitive, and we get great outcomes on account of it. And I think it's because it lets teachers pick and choose their, where they want to be, and it's about sort of the environment of where you want to be, not just how much you get paid, the level of micromanagement. What are your sort of positions on the school choice issues? Should we expand it? The canard that if we can't take money away from the public schools, I think is, the data just doesn't support that, and we got to do something different than what we've been doing. So how do we move forward with that if we do?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're talking about, I'm much more receptive to the argument that your zip code shouldn't dictate the quality of education you receive. And so if we're talking about zoning, loosening zoning, and finding ways to get kids across, if there's a school that's a better fit for a kid, and they're in North Las Vegas and the best school for them is in Henderson, let's find a way to get that kid in Henderson, right? And let's remove any barriers to that. But if we're talking about taking funds, my issue is, my concern is that we've had a funding problem for a while. And if we take funding out of the schools in that way, like in the purest possible version of this, where you take the per student allocation and you give that to the parent in the form of a voucher, and they use that at whatever school they want.
Yeah, but that's not how it works. I mean, at the end of the day, my kids' public charter school spends less tax dollars per kid than the regular public school, the traditional public school down the street. The building costs less, and we get zero funds for that. Why not? And we get a better outcome. So we spend less tax dollars, we get a better outcome. So why not embrace that? Why are we not embracing that?
I think we should take lessons from those schools. Like if we're seeing innovation that gets us more bang for our buck, I think those are things we should look at and see what we can apply to the public education side, because we don't want that to be a rarity. We don't want that to be like an odd use case. And some of the things, like if you look at individual school levels, you might see things that are specific to a geographical area or the circumstances of that school. But I think we should be drawing lessons from the schools that are doing well and seeing what we can apply district-wide.
All right, and we're going to talk, I love you talk about innovation. We're going to talk about that on the economic sphere when we come back.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Here on 7 at 7, we're bringing you the local headlines in just 7 minutes.
We've got you covered in the morning, evening, and for all breaking news, in between, and as it happens.
Life is busy, and we don't waste your time. Join us for local news now streaming on our YouTube page.
We wouldn't steer you wrong with the gold standard of steaks at Joel's Chop House. Indulge in dry-aged steaks, seafood, Wagyu tomahawks, located on the second floor, and great views of the Strip.
Fantastic cocktails and delicious food. It's a good time to eat. Over 500 hot slots plus electronic table games.
It's a good time to play.
Player rewards and big-time jackpots.
It's a good time to win.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. With me today, Joe Dalia, Assemblyman from Assembly District 29, representing portions of Henderson. You worked in Silicon Valley. What did you do? Were you working for startups? Tell me about that.
So I was the co-founder of a startup, but that was a Las Vegas-based startup. In Silicon Valley, I was primarily a technology attorney. So I worked with some big tech companies, worked with big venture capital firms, really got to understand the ecosystem out there and got some lessons that I hope we can bring here to Nevada.
So you mentioned at the beginning, and I said I want to come back to it, and I do now. You've got a couple of bills and some proposals. Tell us about those.
Sure. I mean, so the first bill I alluded to, I'm seeking a $10 million appropriation for our workforce innovations for a new Nevada program. It's a great program out of GoEd. We just got to keep the funding going for that. I think that's important for developing advanced manufacturing and technology jobs here. Investments like that are going to be pretty crucial to our future. Other things we're trying to do, I mean, we're adjusting some of our corporate laws to stay competitive with Delaware because they have a few differences in their corporate law that there's some areas of clarification. So we're working with that with the State Bar of Nevada, and we're also looking to introduce an amendment to our state constitution to introduce a state business court. We've seen Texas do this. We've seen Delaware do this. We're trying to stay competitive with those two states in terms of where business feels comfortable starting up. And
so those are, and look, I like businesses. I don't care if they're big or they're small, whatever, as long as they're doing well. I don't necessarily like when businesses get sort of special treatment. But if you're talking about small businesses, the regulatory structure in Nevada, we are one of the most regulated states when it comes to businesses. Professional licensing in particular is absurd in Nevada. Are you looking at stripping away some of that red tape? I mean, politicians love talking about getting rid of red tape. It rarely happens. Tell me about, have you looked at any of that? What sort of things can we do in those areas?
I would love to see that. I mean, there are things, having started a business here, it was really hard to get off the ground. I mean, you're worried about 16 different things, including running afoul of municipal laws, HOAs for operating a business out of your house, right? From top to bottom, you see this scary regulatory framework, and it can have a chilling effect on entrepreneurship. And I would love to see what we can do to simplify that and exempt a lot of people, because I think that's what we want. We want more garage businesses. We want people to start the next big tech company here in Nevada, because that's, companies like Zappos that could introduce, become part of the framework of our city and become a huge revenue generator for people.
So tell me how you strike the balance. So in Nevada, the problem is that we get these, big businesses that come in, and then they, for example, let's say, taxi, or almost any of these boards, these regulatory boards, have industry members on the board that then write regulations for taxi drivers. They literally can say, "Oh, we have decided there's plenty of taxis. There's more than market can bear, so we're not going to hand out any new licenses for startups." And so there's tension between these big companies that can sort of prevent the smaller ones from coming. And what's attractive to the big companies is sometimes at odds with the small businesses. How do we keep a competitive edge and allow people to start things that could get big, while still keeping the bigger businesses happy, or can we?
I think we can. I mean, I think that's our role at the legislative level, to make sure that regulations don't go off the rails. We can prevent that at the state level by saying, And I think that's going to be different industry to industry. Like in technology, we really don't have a lot of players in town or in the state generally that are going to crowd out some of the smaller businesses. But, you know, you brought up the taxi industry. There's going to be industries like that where you see, you know, what economists term regulatory capture, right? So we need to address those things when they occur, try to prevent those with state law if we can. But I don't know that we can get out of it writ large.
So let me ask you, and we don't have too much more time, so a brief answer. But for example, look, I'm a big fan of Elon Musk. I drive a Tesla. I don't like that when they built the Gigafactory, Tesla gets these special rules. They can sell direct. Other auto manufacturers can't sell direct. They have to go through a dealership, and that's all regulatory stuff. When we incentivize businesses to come here, do we do that on an ad hoc basis like that, or do we level the playing field for everybody? What's your position on that?
Ideally, we level the playing field, but I think in certain instances to break into a market, we might have to do that ad hoc approach.
Okay. I don't like it, but I respect that answer and the clarity of it. Joe, thank you so much for joining us. I wish we had more time. Great conversation, and hope to pick it up again another time.
Thank you, and I appreciate it.
All right. That's all the time we have for today. We'll be right back.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. This has been Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. Join us at NevadaNewsmakers.com 24/7.